Hi, Amy.
Hi, B.
We just watched 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 7, Episode 21, which is also known as The Tell All, Part 1. Any initial comments aside from a raising of the eyebrows?
I think there was a surprising character change for Chloe. Manon is absolutely insufferable. I don't know. I liked parts of it and I didn't like parts of it. So
Mm-hmm.
it was okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think okay is the best way to describe it. Also, I was annoyed with Manon, but not a surprise, really. I figured she was going to be trying to make herself the center of attention, which she did. I was very shocked by the relationship, as antagonistic as it was, between Madeleine and Chloe. Anyway, we shall see what we can make of all of this.
Yeah.
Before we do dive in, though, here's our quick 1 and 2. 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé. Honestly, now we may begin.
My first note is about Anthony and Manon, and my note says, "Why does he look so different?" And as I read it, I realized he shaved off his mustache. I could
Indeed,
not
he
figure
did.
that out for the life of me last night. Okay, sorry.
No, that's all right. I also wanted to talk about them first because I thought it was very telling in the intro scenes before anybody gets into the studio and on stage that she and he were walking down the street and she was walking well ahead of him, which is one of those telltale signs of somebody who exhibits narcissistic personality traits. And you can tell she's just loving every moment of this. Even if the attention is negative, this is her drug of choice. When people are looking at her, talking about her, thinking about her, she loves it.
Main character syndrome.
Mm-hmm. And I know we've said this before, but I really can't stand this, if only for the sake of Ben, their son, and Anthony, because of what they have to endure. And knowing that that little kid is growing up in a family where he has such a mother makes me feel sad.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to know that he's exposed to that behavior, and also really sad that Anthony has to deal with it. I hope he leaves her. That's not a safe relationship, like mentally safe.
Yeah. Some of the other cast members as they arrived, Luke, notably not wearing a wedding ring. I wonder what that means. But still bedecked in his fake fur and his gold chains, rings, sunglasses, etc. Way to be you, Luke. Jenny is arriving for her 293rd appearance on a tell-all. And did you notice Patia was also not wearing a ring, engagement, or wedding band?
I did not notice that, no.
Not sure if it means anything at this point, but definitely not there. What else? Manon, she looks like a Temu Kids Party Pistachio Princess puffball.
Yeah, who was her stylist? She looked awful. That dress did not fit her well. It didn't accentuate anything good. And we've seen her look quite stylish previously, so what happened?
I have no idea. I saw somebody online saying that the producers actually get to dress them up for the tell-all. I have no idea whether or not that's accurate, but if it is, then it's very telling of what the producers think of Manon, that they would dress her up in such a hideous garb. Ugh. And make her look like an exploded frog. Anyway, any other comments?
Evil stepsister. That's what she looked like.
From like Cinderella?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Good one. Well, if we're going to talk about the couples individually as they were interviewed by Sean, we started with Chloe and Jonathan, who obviously are not together. Their split was 7 months ago.
What timing?
Yes.
For the information that we already have.
Yes, but we shall not discuss it because that would be a spoiler for next week's reveal on the tell-all.
That's why I was holding my tongue.
Okay, good. We have an unnecessary guest quite early on into their segment. It's Maria, I think is her name.
I think so.
Chloe's friend. She is not, as Sean suggests, an outside voice. She is most definitely Chloe's friend, therefore Chloe's biased witness testimony. And I learned absolutely zero from having Maria come and be an unnecessary guest. Hence, she lived up to her title.
Yeah. My first comment was, why an unnecessary guest so early into the segment? Like that we had the same thought. The fact that he admitted that he cheated about 10 times was Makes a lot more sense now. Though throughout the show, she focuses on one that didn't even matter, that didn't happen during their relationship. Yeah, before they got or became serious.
Committed?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He had flown to Florida with another woman.
Mhm.
She's been talking about that all season, and yet we hear that there are so many others that are even more applicable to this situation. Okay.
Yeah. Jonathan took an interesting position for himself in this, thinking that he was going to be the good guy by admitting his wrongdoings and put his hands up and say, I'm sorry, this was not good. I misbehaved. But then because he felt that Chloe was ruining his reputation by telling other people about his business, which we're not even sure is actually the case, he decides to smear her character on the show even more. So it completely takes away from the fact that he's being honest and telling the truth about his cheating. And he steps up the accusations against Chloe by revealing that she had this sugar daddy and trying to make it seem as if this guy, this sugar daddy, was somehow involved with her while they were together in the committed stage of their relationship, which it's clear that was not the case. There was some overlap at the beginning when she was unseriously dating Johnny. But to me, this choice that he makes to talk about the other guy and to reveal some of Chloe's secrets speaks volumes about who Johnny really is.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
And he said he, in fact, went through Chloe's phone. He went through her phone in order to find out this information about the guy who was the sugar daddy. And yet, that, in his 2 episodes ago, was his defense against cheating, is that her going into his phone was an even bigger crime than him cheating or sending nudes or receiving nudes with another woman. So explain that to me, please.
It doesn't make any sense, so I cannot.
And just to make things nice and fun, we find out that they slept together after they broke up the same
Of
day.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yep.
That I can't believe she did that. I can believe he did that, but I can't believe she did that. She
Mhm.
really held her own in that episode when she left. So it's unfortunate that she faltered. Though
Yes.
she also held her own very well in this episode. She had quick clapbacks for Madeleine and stupid shit that was spewing out of her mouth. Like she maintained her composure for the most part. I mean, had Johnny been saying stuff like that and it was like the Chloe that we've seen from the show, like she would have just been going ballistic.
Okay.
But she stayed in her chair. Sure, there was some yelling and finger
Yes.
pointing, if you will. Yeah, she could have had a lot more choice words for Madeleine. But I'm really surprised, also not surprised, that Sean didn't shut it down.
Good point. She did not.
Name calling and offensive gestures, hand gestures.
Very, very offensive language. And I had not even thought of that it was Sean's responsibility to take care of the cast as they're on the stage, and she was not doing that. That's right. Well, if that's all that we have to talk about with Chloe, we go into a break next. And the only thing that I learned during this break is that perhaps Luke is into Chloe,
Okay.
which goes a long way to explain why Madeleine and Chloe are exchanging these awful words, why Madeleine is attacking Chloe like this. Because we know Madeleine is very, very jealous. It's one of her most attractive qualities.
She spewed vitriol in the first part, though she became, I don't know, when they came back and they were going at Johnny again, Madeleine had Chloe's back. She's like, oh yeah, I agree with you on this one. And it was strange to see the flip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't
I thought it was very disingenuous.
Yes.
The way that Chloe
Thank you.
responded to that, going, oh, yes, you're on my side. We're all good now. Like, very schoolyardish. You know, if somebody insults you, but then they insult somebody else who's also insulting you, and all of a sudden you're besties, even though they just called you names 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Mm.
No thanks. The immaturity was it was too much. Oh, and I
Agreed.
did want to note that Chloe looked absolutely spectacular.
She did. Yes. Shall we read on to Greta and Matthew?
Yes.
Are we shocked to know that Greta lives in London now and she is working there?
I was surprised to hear that.
Mm-hmm. So maybe it's the reverse green card. She was using Matthew to get to England. No, I don't think she was actually doing that. But I'm glad that she got to stay there, that she found a job, that she's following her dream, whatever that may be. And she seems very happy, even though, strangely, she did not go back to the States to retrieve her cat. She just went back to visit.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I forget what her excuse was, but it was just so flimsy.
Travel.
It was just the travel.
She travels for her work a lot. I'm
So
like,
she's not home often.
so it's not possible for you to get a neighbor to come in and feed the cat and look after the cat for however many days you're away? No?
Pet
Okay.
services will come and
Yeah.
feed your cats. But the way that she was talking just absolutely broke my heart. I can't imagine having to go through that and, after leaving a pet that you have loved so much and then just visiting them is so much more heartbreaking because then you
Mhm.
have to leave and then you're wondering if they're confused, if they're wondering where you are, and then just wrecked me with guilt.
Aw.
Yeah. Awful.
Well, it was a nice touch for them to bring the cat onto the video stage.
That was wonderful. I
A
loved that.
necessary guest, not an unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Yes.
Yes.
You know what? If we could have some of the guests from that appear on the tell-all, can we not just have, like, all the house animals?
That would be lovely.
The house cow? Can
Yeah.
we have the house cow again?
I don't think they'd have very much to say, but it would still be very soothing.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
just to exist.
So
Okay.
Matthew. Matthew, I found overall, generally speaking, did not have very many words at all to say, which I believe is pretty much reflective of his scintillating personality.
Yeah, his attitude, even though, he comes out that he's got a girlfriend, a long-term girlfriend. It's been how long? Long-term? 'Kay. But he speaks as if he's the saddest man in the world. Just like a complete Eeyore personality. And I hate saying that because I love Eeyore, but I do like what you said about a scintillating personality or lack thereof. But I was really interested when he said that he really wanted to have more conversations about the breakup before she just left, so you can convince her to stay. Otherwise, what's the point in wasting each other's time?
Yeah, he just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
He really does not get it. And I think that's the biggest flaw that he has, aside from not being able to empty a drawer, which, by the way, when Greta's friends, the grandma club, arrive via video to talk to everybody, they start discussing how he didn't make the effort to make space to accommodate when Greta arrived. And yeah, we all agree that's spot on. But his response to that was, I think that's unfair. What? They just said you could have cleaned out a single drawer for her at least. And he said, well, I think that's unfair. Is this the hill he wants to die on? That his inability to empty out a single drawer is an excuse? What?
He seems like the kinda guy who would get married to a woman and he's gonna wake up one day and whoever's gonna leave him and, "Oh my I have no idea." I mean, even when Greta broke up with him, she told him why. "I have no idea why she
Mm-hmm.
left me." Okay, yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
be a cycle for him. He's just
Yeah.
gonna live in ignorance.
Yeah, well, Greta's friends do not live in ignorance. They are well aware of the fact that the reason why the relationship didn't work is because Matthew was unable to connect with Greta in the way that she needed. He couldn't listen to her. He couldn't hear her acknowledge her feelings, make space for her. So this all fits in very well with what we've seen this season and how we've interpreted on screen. Then we find out that he has moved on, and it's not just the what does he call her? His new soul companion. I think that deserves a capital S and a capital C. Soul
Soul companion.
companion. So deep. It's not just that. He said they have a house. I was like, what? You couldn't be bothered to get an apartment in the months and months leading up to Greta coming to the UK to live with you so that you all had to live in cramped little bedroom in your parents' house, but you've had this very brief relationship in which you've already bought a house? Come on.
It doesn't make any sense to me. He mentions that, their first date was so great that it lasted 5 hours, and he knew on the first date that she was his soulmate. You are impulsive. Wow. Didn't Greta say the same thing? Or didn't he say the same thing about Greta? That first date, nerding out over whatever they were nerding out over, and soulmates. Wow.
Mhm.
Isn't that
Yeah.
incredible? 2 soulmates have found you in a period of 2 years, 3 years. Good for you. That's amazing.
Anyway, his choice of language I found to be very, very interesting. And I wondered, perhaps, is his new soul companion a man? Which there would
Oh,
be nothing wrong with, of course. I'm not trying to imply that there is, but just the way that he spoke about it made me wonder.
I hadn't even thought about that.
It just
I
would
don't know
not
what I
surprise
think.
me if he was closeted, that's all, based on how he interacted with Greta.
Yeah, well, as
All
long as
right.
he's
So,
happy.
yes, as long as he's happy. Exactly. There's another break. I learned absolutely nothing. Did you learn anything from the shenanigans at break time?
I surely did not know.
Okay, let's move on then. It's time to talk about Manon and Anthony, everybody's favorite happy couple. Wow. The part where they're talking about how Anthony did have a job, but Manon told him he had to quit his job because it was such a low amount of money disturbed me deeply.
She
How about
doesn't
you?
wanna work for the bare minimum. I think she was embarrassed of whatever job he did have, and
Fast food.
yeah. So, that's beneath her, even though the bare minimum should be paying the bills, any debt, saving up for your future, just establishing
Hmm.
this super comfy lifestyle that you want, because
Hmm.
any money is better than no money.
Yes.
I think it was just another way for her to take control back in the relationship. You can't work anymore, and now you have to watch Ben.
Exactly. She's forcing the same pattern back onto Anthony that they had in the US, where what he's doing is not good enough. So she has to go out and be the breadwinner, and he has to stay at home and be the parent, the single parent, basically.
Yeah.
The
And
excuse about this job that he had not paying enough and not being good enough for her was wow, it blew me away. 900 euros a month is a good amount of money. Like, in Europe, the wages are a little different. That's considered a pretty good wage in Europe. And it goes a lot further than you'd think. Just hearing 900, you're like, oh, but that's not even enough to like pay rent or pay groceries for a month. Here, no, there, groceries are cheap, restaurants are cheap, especially if you're living in the countryside, it's going to be a lot less expensive. So that is actually a pretty decent amount of money to live on for one of you. She's obviously working too. She's got some income from whatever entrepreneurial bullshit she's got going on. But then it is revealed that Madame Manon is running for mayor. Good for you.
nope.
Who's going to vote for the woman who calls the village she lives in or the town the asshole of France?
And then her backpedaling, saying that, everywhere that's not a major city is the asshole of France. Like,
Right.
no, no.
No.
You can't cover yourself at this point. And, if anybody watches her online, they can see how explosive she is, how she doesn't actually listen to anyone. All she does is main character syndrome. Again, me, me, me. It's all about me. None of you are helping me. Everyone is against me. Oh my God, imagine her meltdown when she doesn't win.
Well, she has not made a secret of her scorn of France since the beginning. When we were first introduced to her, she talked about how much she loved the United States compared to France. France was this hellhole where she was just persecuted to no end. Okay. And she even, when they're on stage, says, "Oh, I'm at home now that I'm here back in the US." And Anthony says, it's the reverse for me. I feel more at home in France than I do in the United States now, and yet you're running for mayor? Like, this is all about what it's going to look like from the outside for people to see that I am now a mayor. It's not about wanting to serve her village, town, city, whatever it is. It's not about loving the people so much and wanting to make a difference. It's about the title and whatever praises come along with that.
The attention. Yes.
Mhm. More attention, exactly. And I mean, it's ridiculous. She's even judgmental about the people who live in her own town. You really think that they're gonna vote for you? Come on, get real.
You know who I know will vote for her? Will
Chloe,
be the woman at the boulangerie or the chocolate place.
the chocolate store. Yes. Maybe,
Yeah,
perhaps. I don't
that was
know.
complete and utter sarcasm because she was just so rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she starts okay, I don't know where to go with this. So, we learned that Manon controls Anthony's phone,
Mhm.
and he blocks his sister on it, or she blocks his sister,
She blocks
and
his family members from social media so that they can't see what they're doing.
he has to delete messages because he knows that some of them will enrage her.
Mhm.
The eggshells,
Yep.
this is so abusive. I wanna know why she's so worried about everyone else talking shit about her.
That's a question, isn't it? Because she's so delightful, warm, caring, and generous, spirited,
Positive.
very positive. So, what can they possibly have to say about her? What
No.
can Anthony possibly need to talk to his family about? He's got this very loving, supportive wife who helps him in every aspect of his life.
Not just that, but she sees the family as the biggest success of her life.
It's awful. It's so bad. They showed a bunch of clips where she's yelling at Anthony, abusing him, verbally and emotionally abusing him. And she starts to cry on stage. Is she crying because she's remorseful? She's thinking, "Oh, I can't believe I was so awful to my husband. I feel really badly about that." No, no. She's crying. This is a question that Sean asked her because she can't get Anthony to do the things that she wants him to do, or she can't get Anthony to be the man that she wants him to be. For real. That was her answer.
I was floored. I mean, I shouldn't have been, but I was.
Mhm.
That I I mean, I don't know what kind of reaction I was expecting, but it wasn't that. That is just so incredibly self-centered and ignorant.
She also does something that we've seen actually in the last episode of Before the 90 Days. She reverses things, she switches up the tables, she plays her victim card. Even as she's bashing Anthony for all the things that he doesn't do that she wants him to do and all the expectations she has for him that he doesn't live up to, she says to everybody, "Go ahead, say I'm a bad woman, I'm a bad wife, I'm a bad mother, etc., etc." Trying to put the focus on her. I'm the victim. You guys are all bashing me. Meanwhile, the real problem is this guy. It's stunning, stunning to watch this unfold in front of you in real time. The way that she completely abdicates all responsibility for any wrongdoing in her own relationship with her husband, puts all of the burden on him, and meanwhile tells us that she is the one who has been wronged, who deserves our sympathy. It's masterful manipulation.
It's wild. Just
Mhm.
wild to know that, people like that actually exist in real life. I thought it was quite fun when she starts yelling about insecurities. Insecurities? I got burned. I got hurt. Insecurities? What? You got burned and hurt how? By your husband or anyone else. Who knows? The shit that was coming out of her mouth was
Yeah.
flabbergasting, really.
And I guess the last thing that I found completely disgusting about what she did on stage was when Aunt Candace came out. Manon immediately, you could see how uncomfortable she was. She was crawling out of her skin. She did not want this woman to come on stage or open her mouth or say anything at all. And so she immediately started making all of these, what is it when you speak under your breath?
Mutters?
Mm. Well, yeah, she was kind of muttering about Aunt Candace and how awful she is, and it's like, "Why don't you come in and chop my head off already?" That kind of thing. To start bringing up the sympathy for her. "I'm gonna die." She's I know, it's all about the facts. We're just here to listen and observe, and if you're already behaving like this before this woman has even said a single word to us, it's obvious. We're gonna listen to Aunt Candace because you are trying to set us up for some kind of subterfuge, and Aunt Candace brought the receipts.
It was nice to have her there because I feel like Anthony really needed the support.
Yeah.
And it was nice to have someone do the fact checking because
Mhm.
obviously Anthony says one thing, she says another. What does this actually look like? How awful for Anthony. Why does he
Mhm.
stay in this marriage?
I don't know. I don't know. How do you think you would feel if your spouse said to everybody in the audience, "My wife has broken my trust multiple times," which we automatically go, "Oh, no." cheating, which is what Manon says about Anthony. But what she meant, what she was referring to, is that he speaks to his family honestly about his feelings and what's going on in order to get support and feedback. And she finds that such a betrayal that it's breaking her trust multiple times. Cry me a friggin' river, Manon.
Talk about wanting to create isolation.
Yeah, definitely wants to isolate Anthony. And she's doing a good job, I have to say. She is succeeding there. We have another break. Manon says she's done. Of course she does. She reminds me very much of Angela. It's like the new Angela. She whines and complains and cries about how she's being humiliated by everyone, which is rather ironic because that's precisely what she's been doing to Anthony since they came onto our screen. And she threatens divorce. Great. All of which is said behind a curtain rather than in a room where there's some privacy because everybody on stage can hear what she's saying. It's deliberate.
And then she starts yelling that everyone's having fun humiliating her. Who? Who has done that to you? Who? I haven't seen that.
Nope. I know. Nobody's humiliating her at all. She is doing this all to herself.
Yeah. Well,
I hope next week that she does not return. I hope that she's gone, but I don't think that will be the case. And I'm pretty sure she's going to interject herself in everybody else's business, as she did in this episode quite frequently, because it's the attention.
Yep. I need it to be more about me and less about you.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Okay. Well, that was something. I hope next week is that it stays on this at this okay level and doesn't sink any further.
That would be my wish as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that they set the bar with this one and then the next one is going to be even better.
I hope so too.
How am I so positive today? This is strange.
I don't know. It is strange, but it's good.
It is good.
Well, before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.